Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. So, I wanted to talk to you about how males are perceiving themselves to be restricted to just two emotions, the sexual emotion and the emotion of anger. So, these are the predominant emotions that a lot of males today associate themselves with. And this is detrimental to the individual because, at the core essence, the moment you take out gender, you have the soul of a human being. If you don't believe in soul, you're a human being. And as a human being, you are entitled to experience various different kinds of emotions. Not just the positive, but also the negative emotions, like disappointment, sadness, heartbreak. If you don't allow these emotions to flow through you as a male, it's going to build up into something toxic, and you're going to release it by way of the two dominant emotions you assume that it is valid to express as a male. And that has been the preconceived notion by the entire society, no matter where in the world you are. It is very toxic because we are not allowing society. What I mean by we is society is not allowing this individual to be himself, his authentic self, because he has the XY chromosome, because people look at him as a male, as this masculine figure who has to be strong, who has to withstand all adversities that life throws to him, which is very unfair. Because a woman, on the contrary, is perceived to be weak, vulnerable, emotional. And she has a justification. Just because she's a woman, she's able to express herself. She's able to cry, and that's all right because she's a woman. And there's a lot of criticism against this stereotype, saying that women are not weak, but we're strong. Right? I mean, that is true, because the moment you express your emotions, you're not weak. It's just that you're a human being. You're acknowledging, you're accepting that you're a human being with emotions, and you're willing to express what your true feelings are at that passing moment. But when it comes to the toxic expression, women tend to stay in one particular emotion for a longer period of time. And that is detrimental to the woman as well. Right? So whether you're a male or a woman, you need to experience different kinds of emotions. You should understand that experiencing different emotions is part of this human experience we all share. The moment you block that experience, the moment you block that emotional experience, you're creating something toxic inside you to brew up like a tornado. Right? It's been bottled up for so long that one day it's going to burst open, and it's going to be disastrous for you and for the people around you. And when it comes to the males, the moment he expresses this, he combines it with anger, with ego, with self-importance, right? All this toxicity packaged in one bundle, and it becomes an explosion. Which is why you need to, as males, you need to accept your emotions. You need to understand that, okay, you're a human being, and it's absolutely fine to experience these emotions. And it's absolutely fine to be weak at times, to feel that weakness, to express that weakness, to express the sadness you're feeling, to express that you've been betrayed by somebody, by a male or a female, right? And to express that you've flunked exams, to express that you've lost money. And it's okay to appear weak, to appear vulnerable, right? When I mean weak, it doesn't mean something negative, because every single person has their own weaknesses. It's just that some people learn how to manage it and some people don't. But that doesn't mean you're a complete failure. That doesn't mean that you're not strong. Just because you have your weaknesses does not mean that you're not strong at all. You need to understand that as a male. Just because you have the XY chromosome does not mean that you have the responsibility to always present yourself as a strong person who withstands all social pressures. No, you're a human being. You're a human being first. You're a human soul, a delicate being who is here for a complete human experience in this life. And that complete human experience entitles a lot of emotions, a flux of emotions, from joy to sadness to disappointment to anger to love to compassion to kindness to sweetness to joy to bliss. It's a lot of emotions that we have, that we need to experience. Male, female, transgender, whatever you are. Even animals experience these emotions. You need to understand that. To carry this burden of perfection is too much for any man nor woman. It's absolutely destructive to perceive yourself to be this perfect person. It creates this mental burden on you, and it brews up this tornado, as I said before, inside you. A tornado of emotions, and this, because you don't identify these emotions get mixed up. So you visualize this tornado, right, with a mix of emotions, and then finally you don't know what these emotions are, swirling inside you. And then you have to release it because you don't know how to manage your emotions. You don't know how to express each one of it by itself. So all of it combines together and bursts as a form of negative emotion, which is why it's very destructive. And to the women who, future mothers, current mothers, who have little boys and nephews and, little, or teachers, please do teach these little boys how to express themselves. Do not use the phrase, you're a boy, so you should be strong. You're a boy, so you should not cry. No, let them cry their heart out. Go hug that little boy and say, it's all right, you can express yourself. It's all right to feel sad. It's all right to feel disappointment. It's part of life. It's part of growing up. Soothe him and encourage him to express his emotions. Otherwise, this toxic masculinity will continue into the future generations. It's already becoming a stagnant notion in our society, which is why it's an alarming concern and it needs to be addressed. Right? It's a long-term plan when you talk of, the moment you speak to children, to these little boys. And you need to, as a female, whether in the capacity of friend, family, teacher, colleague, you need to talk to the opposite gender, to the males, with respect, with dignity, with acknowledging that he's a human being first, instead of looking at him as a male who's coming on to you or expressing himself in a weird way. There's a reason why he's expressing himself in a weird way, right? You need to understand where he's coming from and give that respect to him. Even if he does not respect you, you give that respect to him as a human being. Not as a male, as a human being, you give him that respect. He will understand you. Trust me on this, he will definitely understand you and he will reciprocate that respect to you, even though he doesn't know it. Because later on, the moment every single female does this, every single male will understand what this is. Even if his mother has not taught him how to do it, or his family has not taught him it, we as a society can make him understand it. It is not scolding a man, it is not looking down on a man, but respecting him and honoring him for who he is with all his imperfections, and not running him down and calling him weird names, or it's just adding fuel to the fire, if you ask me. The moment you respect a man, he will value you. And this I mean on a general sense. And the moment he values you, he understands that he can express himself. And he understands that there are other emotions within him that he needs to express. So it starts with you, whether you're a male or a female. Oh, and yet the other issue is this toxic masculinity. These people with these heavily toxic traits, they put this cap, this restriction on other males who express themselves, to say that, oh, they're very weak, they're very feminine, and males don't do this shit. But do not buy into that, I would say, because look, you're a human being, as I said, and as a human being, you have your emotions. They are your emotions, and each of those emotions do have a value to them. You need to understand that. So it is up to you to express it. And trust me, the sexual emotion and the anger emotion are not the only emotions a male experiences. A male can be insecure and not show it. You should express it, because the moment you express these emotions of insecurity, sadness, there are people who can help you get out of it or help you cope with it. See, that is the importance of expressing emotions, so that you acknowledge what you're going through and the others around know exactly what you're experiencing, and they can either adjust to what you're going through. For example, if you've experienced a death in your family and you're sad and you feel devastated, people around, the moment you show the people that what you're going through is sadness and loneliness, people around you will understand that. So, for example, if somebody has a party and you don't turn up, they understand why you didn't turn up. Instead of saying, oh, this person does not want to associate with us, oh, this person does not want to talk to us anymore. They understand that you're not coming for the party because you're sad and you're not in a proper mental state to have fun, to dance, or to just have fun at the party. That you just needed time for yourself. See, that clears up a lot of misunderstandings, doesn't it? By being yourself, by expressing your true emotions, by being your authentic self. That's what I'm trying to get at. Whether you're a male, you don't have to appear strong. Right? This burden is way too much for any person to carry. Whether you're a male or a female. Because, I repeat, at the core essence, you're a human being. You're a human soul. And this human being has perfections I wouldn't use the word perfections. Has imperfections. Has positives and negatives, which complement each other. And we as a community, as a society, as a human society, we can support each other because we have qualities that complement each person. That's why we need to stick together as a community and look out for each other, because every single person is going through something similar as you're experiencing, right? It's just a varying degree, but it's the same experience. So be compassionate to people, show kindness, and take time to put yourself in their shoes. I know it's not possible for everyone to do so, but at least be kind, be genuinely kind, be genuinely compassionate, and be yourself, be your authentic self. That is what this world needs the most. Be your authentic self as a human being, as a human soul who can express what exactly you're feeling and be real. Toodles.